Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing something that I did last summer as well that I think would be really fun to do again because I've read more books this year obviously, so I have more options than what I had before. None of these are going to be repeated, and it is reading 1-star reviews of books that I gave 5 stars or maybe even more. I don't know. I don't think that there's a 6-star in here actually, but that's what we're doing today. And I even made sure to be in the same location as last year because I thought that would be really fun too. Now let's go ahead and get started with Fourth Wing. Starting off strong, we have who had a gun to the head of everyone who rated this 5 stars. I don't recall having a gun to my head. This was just one of my first romanticies. Maybe that's why I loved it so much. This next one I've seen all of the time. Zayden wears skinny jeans. It's okay though, because we can just pretend that he doesn't. He wears anything else, just not skinny jeans. Zayden could spit on me and I would ask him to do it again. I'm not too sure why that's a 1 star. That sounds like a positive thing, just the way that you're wording that. This next review, I was gonna try and do ones that aren't long. This one's kind of long, but not the worst. But I'm just gonna read the first part. This book is not for you if you do not like 1. Frail, small, short heroine lead who's obsessed with huge, big, broad male lead and who just can't shut up about it. Characters not acting their age and bickering like kids. I feel like they act their age, but what do I know because I'm not there yet. Everyone just automatically loves, protects, prioritizes the female lead. How dare they be good friends? I can see how that's unrealistic though. Egotistic, strong male romantic interests who are trying to act strong like they almost become the unknown side characters. I don't really know what that means. No world building in the fantasy setting. There was world building. Like that scene where Violet was on the parapet and she was stating all the history facts. That was the world building. You just didn't get it. No character deaths. No chemistry between the main leads. Wrong. Expecting dragons to be of a more significant role of the plot, but you just have to keep waiting and waiting. I felt like they were significant. Also, this is the first book. There's more. Too much babying of one main character, eye-rolling the entire time, hyped books. Your favorite book bloggers / booktubers read it just for the sake of the hype. I mean, yeah. But it was still good. Writing, which seems like prepping you for the most craziest battle story ever told, but it never happens till the end. Okay. Should we end Fourth Wing there? I think we should, so this video isn't too long, and I'll go on to Play Along Now by Liz Tomforty. Okay, so this is my favorite book in the Windy City series. Isaiah is up there on my book boyfriend list. I did a video of my rankings for my top 10 book boyfriends. If you haven't watched that, you definitely should. So this is going to be really interesting, and this first review I've actually read before, but I'm going to read it again for the sake of the video because I have some thoughts. So basically, the second book in a row where the author writes a complete... Seriously, I am so sick of authors writing these horrible heroines who are so self-absorbed and treat kind heroes like complete crap. I think I am done with this author. Not sure what happened to this author in between Right Move and Caught Up, but her writing is taking a nosedive of quality and story growth. So there's a lot of things to unpack here. For one, Kennedy is not a bitch. And I'm also not too sure what we mean by second book in a row because Miller isn't either. I just don't see how either one of these girls are rude. I see Kennedy getting hate a lot. I know that that's a thing that happens. This is the first time I've seen Miller though. And again, I'm very confused. Were you not there for that scene where she literally saw that Max was about to start walking? So she took him all the way to the baseball field to make sure that Kai didn't miss his son's first steps. Or did you just like block that out? Were you not like all there for that moment, you know? And were you also not there for the scene in Play Along where Kennedy ran 8 blocks down the street during a complete storm to be able to comfort Isaiah because she knows that he has panic attacks during the storm? Were you not present during that moment? This one's kind of funny. Someone just said, nah, I'd rather not play along, clown emoji. This is kind of funny to me too. DNF, Dean is a disgusting human. Kennedy can marry her stepbro. She loves him so much. And Isaiah has an happily ever after with someone else. See, the thing is, I don't even remember her like defending Dean that much. Like, I think she did it like one time from what my memory serves me. And like, it makes sense because even though they're not biologically related, Dean is like the only person in her family that has like been there for her at all. So it would make sense for her to like try and see both of their point of views and not just get mad at him. But she did get mad at him that one other time though, when Kai like told her about the stuff when they were in school and Dean getting with all of Isaiah's like girlfriends and stuff. I mean, I think this is gonna be the last one. Her writing style makes me want to swallow a denim jacket. Childish and unbearable. Sorry, I'm so sorry. And then in parentheses, I'm not sorry. I don't care how hot the characters are supposed to be if I can't stop cringing at every other sentence. I really like the denim jacket thing. Like, I feel like it was really random and it made me giggle and it was kind of funny. So at least there's that. Okay, this next one we're doing is a bit of a newer one. Now we are going to be doing Starside by Alex Astor. This book, everything about it, I loved so much. Like, I contemplated putting this above Fourth Wing, if I'm being completely honest, which is crazy. But now that I've thought about it, I don't really think so, just because I'm more attached to the characters in Fourth Wing than this. But still, the story was crazy. The ending, the plot twist, no words, just feelings. Oh my goodness. I'm just gonna read the beginning part that doesn't have the spoilers. This is officially taken the top spot for the worst book I've ever read ever. I cannot comprehend how this currently has a 4.34 rating on Goodreads. And I would generally like some whatever this is. My apologies, I thought I heard somebody coming, so I got scared and stopped reading. Let's continue. I cannot comprehend how this currently has a 4.34 rating on Goodreads, and I would generally like some of whatever the people who are giving this 5 stars must be smoking. I feel as though I could write an essay on how bad this was, and so I will. And then that's when they start writing the stuff. Not much to say about that one. Someone just said there's nothing original about this book, and then they spelled out nothing, and I hate the fact that I'm probably gonna have to agree, but who cares when stuff isn't original? Nothing's original, so I'll eat it up every time. I can't be convinced we're all are reading the same thing because this was the worst romantasy I've ever read. That's it. That's the review. Between this and Light Wielder, I'm about to give up on romantasy completely. See, the worst romantasy you've ever read is crazy. Here's another one about how basic it is. After 100 pages of copy and paste romantasy plot points and the MC getting handed 2 maps, beautiful bedrooms, food and friendship at an inn, a free boat, and getting saved twice from her so-called enemies during the so-called deadly trial, I cannot read this anymore. Is it even a deadly competition at the end of every day the MC is having a nice bath and comfy bed and tucking herself in with a quiet sigh? I mean, that also is like fair enough. Like, I see where they're coming from for this one, but I also didn't really care. There was some points where I felt like it was a little much because they like went to so many different places, got to stay with so many people, and there was just like a lot of things were going on, and I was confused about who was who because we got introduced to so many characters at these different places. So like when another one of the characters that they met got brought up later, I was like, which one is this at first, because it happened so many times, but it didn't change my feelings about the book at all. Okay, we're at the last one. The writing in this is just so objectively bad, so bad. Do we not believe in paragraphs anymore? It's been a long time since high school, but a sentence has a subject and a verb. A paragraph is a group of sentences with a theme. Can we start doing this again? I don't know about you, but I didn't notice any like half sentences or things not being in paragraphs or grammar errors or anything like that in this book, at least that I can remember. So there's not really anything I can say about that one. Now let's move on to what I think is going to be the last book. Okay, so I actually completely lied. We're going to do 2 more books. So right now we're going to do Love Song by Elle Kennedy, which is another new release from this year. I just want to preface this by saying also, the reason why I gave this 5 stars completely might just be because I'm biased over the fact that I've been waiting for Blake and Wyatt to end up together and to have their book for the past 2 years. So no matter what Elle Kennedy put in this book, I was gonna love it. So there's that. Like, I understand why people hate it. I understand the issues, but it was still the best thing in the world to me, you know? So let's start. Blake Logan and Wyatt Graham. Well, this is awkward, but I have to DNF as this was very underwhelming. Childish. I keep hearing stuff and it's scaring me because I feel like my dad's gonna pop out of the corner out of nowhere and then I'm just like here filming a video. Well, this is awkward, but I have to DNF as this was very underwhelming, childish, overly lustful, fair enough, without real connection, and yeah, it is not good. However, though, the thing is that all of Elle Kennedy's books are very lustful, like they just are. It's just how she writes, okay? You can't be mad at this one book when they're all like this. This one is also another funny one. Elle Kennedy, It's Time to Retire. 1 star is generous, actually. And then the one right below it, DNF'd. I realize no one is forcing me to read this horrible book. And you know what? Good for you that you're able to DNF. Never again. Maybe I'm too old for this and maybe I had too high expectations, but this book is very sex-centered. Again, they always are, with the ghost story as a subplot. Kind of forgot about the ghost story. Like, I completely forgot that plot point at all. Okay, that's kind of funny. Thanks for reminding me. It was kind of fun, though. Like, I didn't really care. It was random, but it was fine. The only semi-good subplot appears in the last 20% of the book, but it still isn't executed well. Fair enough. The writing also is lacking. All the boys are fuckboys. Again, the books are like that. The girls are better, but still not great. I have small hope only for them in future books. I'm really sorry if you can hear this plane, by the way. When I saw any lyrics, I immediately skipped because, be fucking for real, at least I laughed at some of the things one Jen said. They were comic relief for that. You don't know their names because I have no clue who you're talking about when you just say one Jen. I fear, but that's okay. And with the song lyrics, I've seen a lot of people say that they just skipped over them or that they were bad, but I'm not like an expert on song lyrics, so I was reading them and I thought that they were like really good and really cute, so my bad. This last review just said, war is over. So that's kind of funny. I feel like my singing was funny. I didn't even sing it in the right tune as the song. Anyway, let's move on to the last book. I feel like this last book is a great one to end it off with because I'm actually still in the middle of the series right now. I'm on the 3rd book and I have gotten through this series so fast. Like, I'm so into it. Every time I finish a book, I immediately pick up the next one. I never do that. The last time I did that was when I read the Leica series by Kristen Becca Ritchie last summer. So that's how you know it's good, okay? And I'm like starting to get a little bit obsessed. Hopefully I'll continue to be obsessed because it's really hard for me to find book series to be obsessed with when I've read Boys of Tommen and Addicted Calloway because just nothing compares, especially to Boys of Tommen. So we're just gonna read the first book, reviews for the first book, and the Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. DNF because no female main character has ever sucked the way this MC sucks. Also, she keeps on complaining to be Italian. Girl, you're as Italian as a chicken parta. Shut the fuck up. Okay, that I kind of wasn't expecting, so it was kind of funny. Anyway, I love Cassie. I don't really even see how she can be unlikable. Also, I feel like she's only mentioned twice the fact that she's an Italian in the series so far, and I'm on the 3rd book, like I said. So another funny one, and I'm a natural at giving books low ratings. Do you need to be an asshole to be a natural? I feel like the only person I can even say is an asshole at any point is like Leah. She's done some questionable things and acted kind of rude, but I love her anyway. Dean could be considered that at first too, but love him. And then Michael, maybe, but like leave Sloane and Cassie out of this, especially Sloane. They didn't do anything. The Hello Kitty was this book. That's very random. This book was awful, absolute dog water. All the characters were walking cliches. Paper boxes are deeper than all of them combined. That's crazy. Pretty sure getting caught by a serial killer would be less painful than whatever the hell this book was. You know what? At least you made a reference towards the book in your bad review. I have never been happier to finish a book. Let's start with the reasons this book gave me the ick. Unnecessary love triangle. Cassie, that has a personality of a plain paper, managed to get 2 guys liking her. She met the boys a few days ago, kissed one in Truth or Dare, and she guessed the other guy's favorite eggs. Now I'm supposed to believe they both like her already. You know, that's fair enough, because I did think that they started liking her out of nowhere, and I was like, huh? There is no development there, because the love triangle is just a side plot. It's not a main focus. But I just kind of choose to ignore it because it's not the main focus. So I shouldn't like give it a low rating just because of that. But apparently this person did. Side characters. Dean being mysterious and lonely guy. And Michael the fuckboy. And Leah, who just exists to be sexy. And Sloane, who's the most useless one. Oh, not my girl Sloane. Don't say that to her. My girl is just sitting there waiting for an opportunity to spell some random facts that has no use, but it's so cute though. I love when she says her little random facts. It's so fun. I love her. I think if the FBI in that book discovered Google, I'm afraid Sloane might lose her job. Okay, you know what? That's fair enough, but it's fine. Google can be wrong. I can only say that the last 10 to 15% of the book is where the plot existed, but still I can only give this book 1 star. Yikes. Someone just said no. Okay, I've seen this review and now I understand what the Hello Kitty comment from that other person was about. It was making fun of something that Cassie said in the book. Honestly, I don't really remember this though, considering I just read this book like 3 days ago. Reading but got to figure out what the Hello Kitty had happened that afternoon and slammed the book shut. I don't know, I feel like I can kind of remember it. That's kind of funny though. I see why you would get the ick, but I'm just like DNF, but it felt too close to a fanfic for Criminal Minds written by a 13-year-old. Pretty painful, never listening to TikTok again. I haven't watched Criminal Minds. Whoa. I have not watched Criminal Minds, so I can't really say if that's true or not, but I still, like, I can tell how somebody would say that, I guess, if I had watched the show. And I also just really hate when people say never listening to TikTok again, because people have different tastes. Like, I went on an entire rant about this last video when I did this last year, so I'm not gonna do it again. Now, I think that that's the last review I'm gonna read for the video. I might continue to scroll through these though after and read some of the longer ones myself, because again, I'm reading the series now, so I think that would be fun. But that's it for this video. I have no clue if it was long enough or like how long I was sitting here for, but hopefully it wasn't too short and too fast for you. But bye bye.